Your body has been testing you every single day. Not your blood, not your memory, not your age. You. And the strange part is, most people don't realize they've already started failing those tests, because the body doesn't wait for disease. It quietly measures one thing instead. If this human had to survive tomorrow, are they still capable? The surprising part? You probably did it less than an hour ago. For most of human history, survival wasn't about living longer. It was about staying capable. Evolution didn't care how old you were. It cared whether you could still move, escape danger, recover, and keep going when life suddenly became difficult. That hasn't changed. Your body is still constantly measuring something scientists call physiological reserve, the capacity you have left when everything goes wrong. And long before disease appears, that biological buffer often starts shrinking in ways almost nobody notices. So, if your body is quietly measuring your chances of survival, what exactly is it looking at? The answer begins with something so ordinary that most people never think about it. Walking. It seems almost too ordinary to matter. You do it without thinking, thousands of times a day. But to your body, walking is one of the most demanding tasks it performs. Every single step is a conversation between your brain, eyes, inner ear, heart, lungs, muscles, and tendons. If just one of them falls behind, the entire system has to compensate. And that's exactly why walking surprised scientists. It looks effortless, but it's one of the few everyday movements that forces almost every major system in your body to work together at the same time. That's why slowing down isn't just about your legs. Sometimes it's the very first sign that something else has quietly started changing. That's why researchers don't see walking as just another movement. They call walking speed a vital sign, the same category as heart rate or blood pressure. Because when your walking speed quietly begins to slow down, it's often not your legs getting older, it's your body's reserve becoming smaller. And that's the fascinating part. People rarely wake up one morning unable to walk. Instead, they slow down by fractions of a second each year. Too little to notice, until one day their body can no longer hide what it's been compensating for all along. But here's what surprised researchers even more. Walking isn't the strongest clue your body gives you. That honor belongs to something no bigger than your hand. In fact, one of the strongest predictors of how well people recover from illness, surgery, and even how long they live doesn't come from their legs at all. It comes from their hand. At first, that makes almost no sense. How could squeezing a small device for a few seconds possibly tell you anything about the rest of your body? Because researchers eventually realized they weren't measuring your grip. They were measuring something much bigger. Reserve. Every healthy body carries extra capacity. More strength than today's task requires. More balance than today's step demands. More oxygen than today's walk needs. That capacity is what allows you to recover when life suddenly becomes difficult. A bad infection, a broken bone, major surgery. The people who recover aren't always the strongest. They're the ones who still have something left in the tank. And that's exactly why grip strength predicts so much. Not because your hand is special, but because a body that has quietly stopped investing in strength rarely stops there. It usually means the entire system has begun shrinking its reserve. But strength alone still isn't enough, because even a strong body can fail if it can't deliver one thing to every single cell. Oxygen, the currency of survival. Biological buffer only matters if your body can actually use it. Because strength without oxygen doesn't last very long. Every movement you make, every heartbeat, every thought depends on a constant supply of oxygen reaching billions of cells. And that's where another remarkable pattern appears. People with the highest cardiorespiratory fitness don't just perform better, they recover better, they tolerate illness better, they survive major surgery more often, because their bodies have more room to adapt when something suddenly goes wrong. Scientists measure this as VO2 max, the maximum amount of oxygen your body can deliver and use during exercise. Think of it as the size of your emergency reserve. When life demands more from you, a larger capacity gives your body options. A smaller one leaves almost no margin for error. And that's why two people can be the same age, yet one climbs a flight of stairs without thinking, while the other has already used most of their reserve before reaching the top. Here's what makes this so fascinating. Most people think aging happens because the body gets weaker, But researchers increasingly see something different. We don't usually lose our abilities overnight. We slowly stop using them, and the body responds exactly the way evolution designed it to. It stops investing in what it no longer expects you'll need. But even oxygen isn't what steals independence first, because losing independence rarely begins with exhaustion. It begins with something far more subtle, the moment your brain stops trusting your body. It happens one small compromise at a time, a slightly shorter step, a hand reaching for the railing, a little less confidence stepping off a curb. None of it feels important. But here's what makes balance so remarkable. It isn't controlled by one system. It's the result of 4 different systems working together every second. Your eyes constantly track the world around you. Your inner ear detects every tiny movement of your head. Specialized receptors in your muscles and joints tell your brain exactly where every part of your body is, even with your eyes closed. And your muscles respond within milliseconds to keep you upright. Your brain combines all of that information almost instantly. If the signals agree, you never think about balance. You simply move. But if one system starts becoming just a little less reliable, your brain changes its strategy. Because it's trying to keep you safe, your steps become shorter, your movements slower. You avoid unstable ground. You reach for support. Ironically, that protection often becomes the beginning of decline. Because the less you challenge your balance, the less your brain practices it. The less your brain practices it, the less confident it becomes. And that's exactly why balance predicts independence so well. It isn't just measuring whether you can avoid falling. It's measuring whether your entire body can still work together under constant change. And that's when something becomes crystal clear. Researchers were never really studying walking, grip strength, VO2 max, or balance. They were studying the same hidden quality all along: reserve. The ability to keep functioning when life suddenly asks more of your body than usual. Your body isn't asking, "How old are you?" It's asking, "Will I still need these abilities tomorrow?" Because your body is remarkably efficient. It doesn't maintain abilities simply because you once had them. It maintains the abilities it still expects you'll need. And eventually, researchers found one movement that quietly combines every system we've talked about. Getting up from the floor is something most people never think about, until the day they can't do it. And what's fascinating is researchers didn't become interested in this movement because it looks difficult. They became interested because it quietly combines almost everything we've talked about. Not one muscle, not one joint, an entire biological system working together. Your brain has to plan it. Your balance system has to stabilize it. Your muscles, joints, heart, and lungs all have to do their part. If one system falls behind, the whole movement changes. That's why the sitting-rising test predicts far more than whether someone can stand up. It reveals whether the body still works as one connected system. Maybe we've been thinking about aging the wrong way. It isn't the slow passing of time. It's the slow disappearance of abilities your body no longer believes it needs. Every walk, every lift, every step that challenges your balance tells your body the same thing. Keep this. Because your body is perfectly efficient. It doesn't hold on to abilities out of sentiment. It holds on to abilities it still expects you'll need. Which means healthy aging was never really about adding years to your life. It's about convincing your body that tomorrow is still worth preparing for.